All right, we'll reconvene the meeting, please, at 1:13. And can I have somebody please move that we receive District Manager Alfred Jericho's report? Move Councillor Peoples, seconded by Lisa. Tony, would you like to direct us to anything here?
Mr. Mayor, I was just going to let you know that the establishment of the gazebo has been completed now at the old Alpha Cemetery. And it's come up really good, the process there. They've also they finished their plaques and that on sandstones as well. So the only other one that I was going to just mention to you is about the local SES group in Jericho. They're going for an FRRR grant, which closes at the end of this month, for the fit out of the actual SES shed in Jericho.
Any questions for Damien? Being none, can somebody move 3.8.1, please? Councillor Hanson, Councillor Plum, seconds.
Yeah.
Just hang about.
Your only conflict is on the Aramac completions block, so if there's no further questions about that, then your MPIs don't exist.
It was Hanson Plum. Paula, do you have anything to direct us to here, please?
Just at the time that I did my report, the Freedom Park booking online, there was no figures there. There were figures towards the end of July and middle of July. So Aramac was just 1, Muttaburra was 2, and Jericho was 12. So at the moment, the trend is to come into the offices and book. As that shows, like there's not many coming booking online at the moment. Most of them are travelling through and coming to the offices, which is fine.
All right, questions for Aramac? Muttaburra.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the theming with the communities all are ideas we think.
So just in Aramac, we've had like to dress the ball up. So at the moment, he's already got his mask, and the quilting ladies have
What sort of mask? The face mask?
yeah, face mask around his muzzle. And the quilting ladies have made him a loud shirt for Loud Shirt Day, so that'll stay on him for most of the month. Muttaburra was just more dinosaur tracks around the town, maybe like a stampede towards the MIC centre across the road, like all different sorts of tracks, dinosaur bins and yeah.
Thank you.
I told the ladies the other day, they're going to do a rug for the bull from State Origin Week and Anzac Week and a few different things that they're going to show over different weeks of the year.
Councillors, now's probably as good a time as any. There was a lady from Clermont visited Central West recently and had big raps on the whole area, but specifically Aramac. Was extremely grateful for the time they spent there, so it was the friendliest town in the outback. Listed the Lake Dunn Sculpture Trail as the biggest impact. So I know we spend a lot of time talking about the negative things that happen on Facebook and those social media platforms, but that's, it's a very long post. I encourage anyone who's on Facebook to have a look at it. It's very complimentary of our communities, especially the two in the north. So well done to all of the locals there. Any other questions relating to this report? We've got some supplementary reports from Paula Defy. Being none, can I somebody move 362, please? Oh, sorry, 382. Sorry. Plum, second it. Gleeson. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, we're not receiving the reports. Wow, sorry. I haven't put it to the vote. Council will remove your names for a moment. We've got to discuss this. Perhaps. Paul, have you got anything you want to present with this?
speaks for itself, everything they want's in the letter, and there's solutions, suggestions, but some things have been followed up, and yeah, some things need to be budgeted for.
Got to commend that community, like detailed reports, and they've got the options and drawn their improvements to their caravan park facility, and they've done well. I'm happy with the resolution. Those two councillors may want to put their names back there, sorry, but I was initially thinking of seeing the report. Does anyone have any comments before I do ask for a mover and second?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I want to commend them too, and like coming back, I know there's been a problem with the caravan park because they've got the amount of cow sites, they can't actually fit the vans in to utilise them, and just for them to come back with all these drawings and possible ideas is, yeah, it's great, so.
Proactive and positive response from communities rather than just expecting council to fix all the problems or provide the problems to council with no solution, whether these are the solutions that are followed or a variety or a combination. At least as a community group here that's prepared to do it. So I think it's
Mr. Mayor,
they do regional Queensland fair at Muttaburra.
totally agree. I just wonder, but in the next, I don't know how long it's going to be, 12, 18 months, 2 years, I don't know, but I don't know that in the present climate and how Queenslanders seem like they're going to travel around Queensland if their caravan parks are big enough.
Don't disagree, councillor. I think not. I think that's why I've sort of probably looked at a request to review all of our facilities to see what extra things may be needed in terms of space and toilets and showers and parking areas and yeah, it's a,
We might, if the CEO is going to go over that way, then we might have to look at the Aramac Park too, and where the timber fence runs along on the western side. There's just a road that runs down there next to the golf club paddock. I don't know, maybe we should be shifting that fence just back, that's 20 metres, so those caravans could park both sides in that park. And just for the cost of shifting the fence, I think it would open it up for next winter season.
well, those councillors that are coming with me on Monday can have a look at that. So. All right, Councillor Plum, I believe you did move this. Are you happy to?
Yes.
And you move to Gleeson. Those in favour? Carried 7-0. 383, Dr. Arad. Paula, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, so we've seen a huge influx of visitors this season, especially. The museum committee would like assistance from council to provide a tourist guide. They're not looking for a full-time tourist guide or anything like that. Maybe a couple of hours a week, depending on the volunteers that they can rack up to. That makes a huge difference. Like at the moment, there's been a caravanner that stayed there and he goes and does all the guides, so which has been really good for them. But other than that, sometimes it falls short and they don't have anyone to do that. So they're just looking for a bit of assistance from council there.
The recommendation from you here, Paula, is that there's a possibility that we could do something or to look to do something within our existing employee budget. So that's viable from your point of view. Yeah. Councillors, can I have somebody move this, please? Peoples, seconded Arthur. Conversation, questions? Being none, put to the vote. Those in favour? 7-0. 384. Would you like to speak to this?
I've just been approached by a local group that want to bring Vision Christian radio station to Aramac. Just want to use our site, which we already use for other radio stations and TV transmissions. I don't see any issues with it.
Questions, councillors? Moved Councillor Peoples, second Councillor Gleeson. The council agrees with the installation of Vision Christian Radio in Aramac. Those in favour? Opposed? Carried. 385. No, 391. We'll move to District Manager Buckle.
Mr Mayor, can I just say, I do have a copy of the Marlborough town map, if any councillor.
Oh, sorry, we did indicate that we were going to ask a question during the reports, and your lunch was too good for you, obviously, Councillor Arthur. You forgot.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I did. My apologies. to the
Twice in
chamber.
one day.
My apologies to the chamber.
Paula, can you look?
It is here if you wanted to have a look. It basically follows the existing old fence.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we are just coming out to include the industrial area. It's southern side of town.
Longer side, yes. Circulate that around for councillors. So can I now have somebody please move to receive Jenny's report at 391?
Hands up everywhere.
Hands up everywhere here now. Councillor Peoples and Councillor Gleeson. Did we move that one? We did.
There's twice.
Those in favour? Carried.
7-0, thank you.
Jenny, have you got anything you'd like to discuss specifically before I move? There was something I had preferred to discuss during your report, and that was.
I'll just give an update. Received a message from David to say that his treatment's going well so far, so he's doing okay. He's finding it updated, difficult, I guess, without his family, but his treatment's going well so far, so I'll just give you an update on that. And I will just go back to, we had what we put out in the Gazette about suggestions for naming of our park area here. We didn't receive any recommendations or names. We had come up with one in the office, which was Chandler Park, so that was in line with what we've done with previous mayors for this area, so that's just the option that we've put on the table, so open for suggestions for those. But yeah, they're the only 2 points that I really sort of like to point out.
Jenny, I'd be happy for you to recommend that to the next meeting if you want.
Yeah, thanks.
I will talk to Rob to ensure he's comfortable with that. If he is, I'll come back to you and then you can recommend it.
Yeah, because a suggestion was also put for like the ski park, because that's something that was also a big thing that started under the old council. That was a passion of the previous mayors as well. If we were thinking of naming that, sort of which way we go. You know, the fish hole side of it and that sort of stuff. That was the other option thrown on the table, so that's where we sort of have this little bit of, we find something else for our park. They want to name the Red Park as well. So maybe, Mr. Mayor, maybe we discuss both options.
Yep, right. We'll have something for a future meeting. Further questions for Jenny's report?
Yeah, it's really Mr. Mayor. I have one, the Campers Rest Stop. I don't believe that rest stop at Jericho Road should be fenced. And the reasons behind that is I go out that way every morning for work. I see them walking into town, or driving into town. I've seen them at the pubs, I've seen them at the Cap Plumbing, I've seen them at bakeries, fuel stations. I do spend a lot of money there. And this appears to be getting done because of the commercial park operators, and I'm probably going to upset someone by saying this. Every single park operator that is a AAMI park order now knew they were there before they purchased their caravan parks. That's nothing new to them, including our Showgrounds Caravan Park. And specifically, a week or so ago, one of the caravan parks brought in a pizza truck I believe they sold some like about 100 pizzas. They brought in a clothing truck, they brought in another truck that done leather and skins and all that sort of stuff, which is nearly direct competition to every other business in town. So why should we keep bowing down to them if they're going to actually turn around and go opposition to everyone else in town that the council is not helping? So I disagree with that fence, because I think if they don't stop there, they're going to go somewhere else. And if you can get them to stop there, even if it's for a day or 2 days, the possibility of going to Aramac, Munnabara, Jericho, Alpha is greater than letting them go straight through town. That's just my opinion.
Other councils?
The land that they park on, it's our land.
Mr Mayor, it is actually town common.
But there's no difference to them parking there as setting up camp out here, which we would most likely have a problem.
Out where, sorry?
Oh, just on the side of the road.
Well, it's the same land, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I have issue with them staying there. I'm for fencing it off and either encouraging them to come into town and stay at, or move on to one of our other communities.
Just through you, Mr Mayor, if those people that actually stay there, because I'm a caravan myself, I've actually spoke to a lot of caravanners over the years travelling around. Those sort of people, if they can't get a free place to park, they're going to keep driving until they get one. So it's not going to drive them into the caravan parks in town because they don't want to come into town. A lot of them live week to week or fortnight to fortnight in their pension, and they'll stay there for a couple of days and right now I've got $50 on the drive over the next town, I'll stay there for 2 or 3 days free. The next pension check comes. That's the way a lot of them travel. I just feel if we can get some money out of them, we shouldn't be driving them away.
Mr Mayor, I think one of the issues, and this is the issue that the commercial caravan parks have, that I guess that camping really only started on the installation of that amenities block there, which Main Roads installed, and it is a 24-hour truck stop. And yes, it is all over a lot of campsites, that there is that free campsite to the east of Barcaldine. And in conversations that I've had with people who have rung me to discuss it, I said, council have never advertised it, so please remove it from any of your advertising materials because it is not an advertised free campsite, because we have to be, we're bound by many rules by this camping policy from our showground. And I just think that, you know, they are also a business in our community. They are businesses in our community that have limited times of the year. So I guess the truck stop part being 24 hours is one of the big issues that they raise with us over the time.
Councillor Plum? First of all, so that I know that we're not just talking about something that's already trains too far in track, where is the project at?
We have the materials. We have done a rough draft of where we want it to go, but it's just getting the resources because we can actually do it in-house and we have the materials on hand. And it's not materials that we've had to purchase.
Right.
It is materials that are left over. So it's utilising existing.
Councillor Plum?
It is a truck stop. So you often wonder from the trucks that pull up there, can they get access to it when they want to get access? Can they pull up there? Because they're all caravans pulled up there. Yeah. No, I'm a bit for fencing it off.
Or Councillor Rogers?
For you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, I think the issue is, I mean, people have always camped there, but recently you go past, they go right back for miles and like there must be a limit on even the amenities, like that amount. Like I probably was under the understanding that we were going to fence off park just to at least keep them contained a little bit, the amount of people that could go there. How much is going to get fenced off? The whole lot? Or I'm sure they'll still find spots to go, but, yeah.
Through you, Mr Mayor, the plan was that we come from the Pony Club fence, we come down, we go in behind the truck stop, and then we go straight down to the Ergon fence, which takes in our stockpile there, and there'd be a gate on that entry there for our guys.
Yeah, there'd be still some camping there.
Around the truck stop itself,
Yeah.
and unfortunately along the cemetery fence. Because I will just add to that, there is one car, because of the commercial caravan parks coming to us and asking what we're doing, I do monitor it quite regularly, and there is one caravan there that I could just about guarantee you this is probably the fifth week. Parked in the exact same spot, so you get to know the vehicle caravan, so.
Just through you, Mr Mayor, this appears to be what the caravan parkers complaining and wanting council to help. I can go back to when I actually owned a bakery in Barkle here, and I can go to today, present day, my wife manages the bakery. IGA brings in out of town bread, out of town pies, they do lunches, burgers, all that sort of stuff. They bring in out of town meat. You don't hear us whinging to council. Please stop that, because it's making it too hard for me and I don't want to get off the part and do it myself. And that's been like, they all purchased them caravan parks knowing everyone else was here, it all existed. They knew that competition was there. I don't think we should be bowing down to them. You're bowing down to a limited number of people, and you've got the rest of the town that is out there doing exactly the same thing, competing against all out of town stuff, no complaints.
What about the presentation of the approach to your community? I know one side's a rubbish dump, but we've got that unfortunately in a couple of other towns that I'm not impressed about either. But, you know, there's a higgledy-piggledy, they're everywhere, aren't they? You know, there's not a lot of structure to it, they're just, I don't know, does that play a role in tidying it up a bit?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, maybe fence part of the area off, but I'm not actually all for fencing the whole area off.
Councillor Peach?
Mr. Mayor, I'm away from, you know, the local caravan parks and everything. I really think that if you drive into Longreach from the west, and you see the old bridge there, where the old cement area, old bitumen area used to be there on the Thompson River, the number of caravans that are pulling up there now, you got, I think just out of Longreach on this side, young fella James Walker has opened up part of his property, and I went to Longreach about a fortnight ago. I reckon there would have been 30 or 40 caravans parked there on his property. I tend to agree with Councillor Hanson that if we stop them from parking here, they'll only go up the road and park somewhere else. And, you know, I think that we don't want to chase that reputation, but we don't want people stopping here. And I drive into Longreach and see all those caravans there. I don't think it's a bad side. I think it's great. I'm without here. I'm against fencing.
I believe they're paying for those sites.
At Longreach, out on the river.
I think Lions, one of the community groups goes and collects the
How
money.
much, Steve?
$3 per person per night or something like that.
Maybe that's an option.
Councillor Gleeson, you're the only one I haven't asked yet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got to agree with Councillor Hanson. I drive that road reasonably often, as everybody else does. Yes, the caravans, they're scattered higgledy-piggledy everywhere. But I've never seen any rubbish laying around. Maybe they might leave a little bit, I'm not sure. But the amount of push bike traffic and foot traffic that's walking along, coming into town, there's got to be some dollars. They pull up there, they stay there, and for the other caravans to be driving down the road and see them parked there underneath a tree, underneath a box tree out in the middle of the flat, that's just an indication. Put the blinker on and pull in there. The trucking facilities is only 1 or 2 toilets. There's no showers or anything in there anyway. And 90% of the caravan persons, I would believe, use their own power, their own toilet, and they call in to the particular dump sites, the council supplied dump site to dump their toilets anyway. I doubt that most of them wouldn't be a lot using the facilities out there. So I disagree with the fence.
Okay.
So, Mr Mayor, if we knowingly allow them to camp on our land, do we not have a duty of care over it? Like, it's either we fence it and exclude it, or we do something to facilitate the use of it.
Well, we can't charge for it because that's the problem we've got with rec parks that are located on commons. We have to sort the tenure out if we want to charge them, turn it into a caravan park. So I can answer that question. I think it's current land use is fine for people to camp on though currently, is it not, Brett? Town common, not camping reserve, but are they allowed?
Reserved for town purpose.
That's include overnight stays. But town people do camp there.
Because I'm pretty sure there's signs at the actual truck stop that allow a maximum of 20-hour stay. But that's for the sealed area, the heavy vehicle stoppage and access to this.
And these signs and what have you, they're in an old policy that we presently have, Jenny, are they? Do we have a camping policy?
For the showground, we don't have anything for that area there.
Okay.
But it's not a gazette camp.
Mr Mayor, the thing that's been raised with me a few times, and not certainly been raised by the commercial operators, but other residents as well, is the concern about hygiene and COVID tracking of people. And, you know, what's council doing about the people that are staying out there? Are we tracking their details? If one of them, was to be positive and infected the community, we wouldn't have any of their details or anything. Now, I don't know what the solution for that is, but that's certainly been raised.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I don't think there is a solution for that, because I know people in a bakery, for instance, unless they're dining in, we don't have to get them to sign the books. They can walk in, buy bread, cup of coffee, walk out the option. So you've got no tracking there either. So as far as tracking them, we're going to have that problem whenever we
I think you've got a casting vote at some stage, Mr Mayor.
You can do the numbers as well as I can, clearly. I don't have a resolution. We are only receiving an information report. But the resolution won't be today anyway. But work hasn't started. We haven't had to acquire anything, so we're going to have to take some more time to consider this approach. Means another month will go by. Either way, let's get it right. All right, we've discussed that well. Next point, question. Decision will be made on that at a future date. Councillor Blunt.
Through you, Mr Mayor. Jenny, when the plans for the bullock dray shed become available, you'll send them through.
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes. I have to arrange a meeting. I had organised meetings last week, but things in our office situations changed, so I haven't been able to meet with the council carpenter yet. So that is hopefully on the plans next week. But at this stage, the plan is as that one that GBA gave us.
Okay, great. That's big enough, like. Also, Mr Mayor, just with all our communities, not only like Calden, is there any chance of us putting some push bike racks up the main street for all these people that are tourists that are on push bikes, or anyone that's on a push bike that wants to stop in our main street? Maybe over beside the windmill in the middle of the pond would be good. Level it off and put them there.
I'm sorry, but
You just see so many tourists riding up and down the street, so what are they going to do with their bike when they want to go into a business house?
I don't know. What do they do?
Lean it on the fence.
It's really everything they can lean it on.
Lean it on the table.
Councillor Plum, could I suggest that could be a really good budget submission for 21-22?
I'm sure you'd find somewhere.
Sorry?
I'm sure you'd find a little bit of money there somewhere.
Well, if you find what you would like and where you would like to put them, I'll probably try and cost it somehow, like I've tried to cost everything else today. I'll find out if it's going to fit, but Rick's got solutions. Yeah.
Mr Mayor, I thought there was one of the news agency already.
Yeah. There's not one down at IGA.
Councillor Plum, this morning you wanted me to slow the traffic down in front of the IGA, and now you want me to accommodate the footpath, the bush bikes as well. What am I going to do next? Look, let's look into it and see what we can do. There are more and more people getting push bikes. The last thing we'd want is a push bike to be laying on footpath and an elderly person trip over it. Your point's well made. We can have a look at what's at the news agency and see whether that's suitable to use, similar style of thing. We don't want to detract from our streetscapes, but if there's some way that we can,
Put some more in the main street, or in all our communities.
we might do some homework around what other councils do to put them in an unobtrusive way so they don't stand out like the proverbial. We don't want to narrow our footpaths by installing numerous bike storage.
I'm sort of thinking around that, Women's Heritage Centre now, in the main street, and there's going to be tourists on push bikes. I love that.
Through you, Mr Mayor, would that be on the opposite side of the street, on the Darcy Door side in Barcaldine? Because the signs say that you're not supposed to ride push bikes on the Oak Street. Can I just clarify that? Well, it'll have to be on the opposite side.
They do, so if it's over there, well, maybe we'll make it over.
Yeah, because Mr Mayor, it is quite dangerous
Yeah.
on that footpath.
It is.
Because we have, you know, the people have the right to have outdoor eating areas there, and when push bikes are coming past, it is their expectations that the pedestrians will get out of their way.
Oh, well, that could even in its own reason be the reason to install on the Darcy Door side so that we can try and really direct cyclists to the northern side of Oak Street. Further questions for Jenny?
Mr Mayor, well, it's related to an earlier topic, radio stations. Can council look into either rebroadcasting or getting access to Rebel FM for the rest of the
Alpha.
community? Alpha has it, yeah. That's good. It's, for my genre, it's not a bad radio station.
Rebel FM?
It might be cost prohibitive, but I just thought,
I don't know who does it now.
Mr Mayor, it is, I know that I spoke to the guys at Rebel FM, probably about 6 months ago, and they were wanting to upgrade what we had in Alpha, and the price that they come up with then, I said, no, we're fine with what we've got there at the moment.
yeah,
Yeah, it was about $12,000 or a little bit more, 12, 13 grand, and that was to do an upgrade then on the service. So, but we've got the bike, we can
it might be a 1 or 2 or 3 year project, but if we could have a look at it. It's another avenue for advertising for us, for tourism for us. Quite often hear ads from the bottom of the Gulf to Billawheeler to Bundaberg. Yeah. Local goings on.
They also have 2 stations, there's Rebel FM and Breeze FM, that they try and broadcast as well. We'll try and sell.
Councillor Peebles, as our resident expert on radio FM stations, would you like to look into that?
I was just thinking, Council Arthur the radio station, we're getting a new station in Aramac, and might like that station here.
Yeah, we have a radio station.
You can listen to that. We'll look at expansion FM opportunities, Rebel being one of them. I'm sure there's more. Thank you, Councillor Arthur. Further question?
Mr Mayor, can I just ask a question? The fencing is going to go around the stables at the race club. The club's got a grant to do it.
Safety fence.
Yep. Jenny knows we did go and inspect.
Through Mr Mayor. And I have spoken to the president and the treasurer of the club about that. I would CEO and the engineer, and we've worked out where it can go, and we've told them about where it can go, but they need to negotiate with us, because we have to, there's water facilities and everything along there.
Can we have a look at those plans when you've got something from them, please, Jenny?
Yeah, I'll follow up with them, because I haven't got anything official from them. We've just got a Google Earth that we drew lines on for which they gave us first.
Okay.
Because, yeah, what they wanted to do was take up a lot of area, which we've shortened. I can bring that to the next meeting,
Right.
just or
Yeah,
scan and email you all a copy of what's been discussed.
Yeah, just give us some idea of where it's going to go, please.
Okay, is there any questions for Jenny?
Mr Mayor, Meals on Wheels in Barcaldine, if the council's ever short, I'm happy to, I can just talk to Jenny about that out of session.
You just considered yourself volunteered 5 days a week, I'd say by the sounds of it.
Maybe not 5 days a week.
So, with you, Mr. Jenny, is that through you or through Hack?
Through his mayor, but we put council's name down for roster. So we do roster so many times a year, and we just send out to us for staff to be able to deliver on those days. So the hospital do it, but council put forward their name to assist.
Oh, can I be on that, because I went to go through Hack and I had to get my blue card and my other cards.
You still would have to, even if you come to us, because we've got to provide them with a list of names.
You should have done all that paperwork. You have done all that paperwork through council. Has anyone got it back yet?
But the paperwork, no.
The police chief, one's been back and handed in.
Oh, no, not that, like the cards
It's a
themselves.
white card now, isn't it?
White card's construction, blue card's
Yellow. Yellow's the one we all need.
which is the disability.
That document filled in, that gives us the card, doesn't it?
I don't think so. I think it only does the checks and then we give further information.
I'll follow it up.
Follow up, further questions?
One more question, Mr Mayor, through Mr Mayor Jenny, the Barcaldine Showground watering system, is that an upgrade, or is that what we were talking about before over on the Camp Draft? Can you explain to me where that is, please?
To Mr Mayor, that's in the Camp Draft area. We haven't got it was a very rough map given to us so that we could get something in the budget. So it's to try and get some grass and plants around that mound. And now that the pathways and everything are in a position.
I had to ask the question because I had somebody saying to me, why do they need more water in the football oval? Thank you. Thank you, next.
And also, Mr Mayor, I understand our flights actually resume on Saturday the 22nd of August. Not Tuesday, the 1st of September.
Mr Mayor, yes, they do. And it's the flight path is changed, as you all know. It's Brisbane to Barcaldine, Barcaldine to Longreach, Longreach back to Barcaldine, and Barcaldine back to Brisbane. So it's a bit of the dog's leg. We are only having flights 2 days a week at this stage, up till the 24th of October. Saturdays and Tuesdays, and I think we have discussed this once before, that we have been recategorised, our airport has been recategorised to a Tier 3 airport, which means that from the 19th of December, we are no longer security screened. And that is the same for Blackwell and Longreach. And Brett has we've made application to actually opt out early. And Longreach and Blackwell have also expressed that interest with QantasLink, and QantasLink have written to us asking if they can assist us to do that opt-out early, which would be a cost saving to council.
I think the revised schedule has operational issues, but it's great for our residents to be able to have a flight direct from Barcaldine to Brisbane and return. It's just fantastic. But
We just need a couple more days.
better than what we had last week.
2 flights a week out of Longreach on Sunday.
Yes, was
Yeah.
Friday.
2 flights on Friday at Longreach.
Sorry,
Friday or Sunday?
Friday.
Okay, stand correct.
From Brett. Dobby, you're being Dobby. What don't you like?
I think I'm just giving signals to the DM vocal.
Obviously telling you
Misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Well, maybe it's easier if we just speak.
One final question from me, Mr Mayor. How are we going with our Parks and Gardens Advisory Group?
So, it's very close to, is it the first week in September? When is the council officials coming?
Yeah, so I did send an email to all councillors, so we're waiting on Councillor Fisher from Rockhampton. I've had advice today that he's coming out around the 3rd of September, but that's not confirmed yet. So, he's coming out for another meeting to do with the east-west air connection. So I'm hoping that we can line up the Parks and Gardens get together with councillors and a separate meeting with operational staff at that same time. So, and the plans for each community, they haven't been uploaded yet, have they, Jess? So the files were corrupted because they're such large files. Councillors that were here last term will remember the actual printouts were about 1 inch thick. They're very detailed and a lot of pictures in them, so the files are huge. So we have to put them on Big Tin Can. So as soon as Jess gets those back from Councillor Fisher, they'll be uploaded and you'll have access to them.
Well, the white ants get into them, did they?
Corrupted, it's a long way old.
Jenny, can I thank you for your quote? I think it's very fitting, especially the second part of that's very fitting for councillors. Remember about tomorrow that lives for today. I think it's very fitting. Well, thank you very much for that. Dan, more inspirational quotes in your report, especially considering they're at the back end of our meeting and we sometimes need a bit of inspiring. Thank you very much, Jenny. Can I move to page 102 of the agenda, please? Agenda item 3.9.2. I was horrified, and thank the detailed report here. $20.50 per transaction. Every time someone goes to that ATM and gets $20 out, it costs us $20.
Mr Mayor, we'd be better off just standing there handing them $20.
We would do. Dead set.
Or a $10 note and tell them to go somewhere else.
So, the chair's already moved committee resolutions today. Can somebody please move this? Because I've already spent the money. Councillor Plum moves, Councillor People seconds. Those in favour? Carried.
Can we just have a chat
So
about
passes 24. Sorry, Manu?
Can I just ask something?
What's too late to move, but you can
I
ask.
know
Yes.
that, I'm just saying.
You moved it, actually.
I know that, but
Yes.
the new proprietary that's going in there has made construction for that to be walled off at their expense. Are they going to be happy because they've gone to that expense and now it's not?
Oh, Councillor Plum, I believe that they've got prime real estate location. I'm sure that something like this, they would understand that something that's costing them as ratepayers $25,000 per annum for whatever they've got to do to accommodate that. I'm sure the district manager and the CEO will be able to work through that.
No, that's all right, I just,
Mr. Mayor,
Failing that, they can pay the 25 grand.
I think that space would, we would use as storage for chairs and barbecues. Would normally have gone into the main area, so for when they have functions on the street.
so we're going to keep that area as well. That's okay, I just thought when they find out that.
Right, councillors, that's been the end of the agenda. I close the meeting at
One
1:56.
last question from Councillor Arthur, Mr Mayor. So with the removal of that, the ATM, that was installed in the old doorway, wasn't it? The other side exit. So would that then open up the space in that room? How much of that room that the ATM takes up would then be accessible for somebody else, or is it all going to then, with the takeover lease of the old information centre, basically just be given to them?
That's what I just said, that it's going to storage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be used by council for storage.
Could it futuristically be used as?
Well, you just said, Mr Mayor, it's prime real estate.
Yeah.
If there's an access from outside, is there an avenue? Because we did have 3 people interested in the initial building. Is it possible to look into access to that?
I think it's a fair question. Can we have a look at that, Jenny? What the possibility might be for you, whether that space is better utilised for council storage or whether there's any commercial reality around that?
I'll look into that, but I don't think it's a huge space. So of the other 2 that expressed interest in them, it would suit neither of them.
No. if we could just do at least an audit of it and see if someone wanted a space that small, whether it would be beneficial, we can certainly consider that on our options list, because real estate in Main Street, anywhere is at a premium at the moment, there's not much vacancy, so very healthy sign. Councillor Owen, actually said it, well, I didn't say close the meeting, but I'll revise that. Thank you the officers for the reports today, there's some detailed stuff there. A very big thank you to the updated financials. I'm really looking forward to seeing 2 or 3 months worth of information in that. And for those tender assessments, thank you very much. So, close the meeting at 1:58.